Welcome to Bigfoot Country's review of the IGOOO DJ710 Dual-Spindle Doweling jointer. Over time, woodworkers evolve and change the way they approach projects, favouring different methods and techniques, and my go-to favoured technique has always been to use dowels, and the bigger the better. Used in conjunction with some strong glue, such as Titebond, you create extremely strong joints. However, a while ago I became fascinated by using dominoes for jointing, which is very much the same principle as using dowels, just on a larger scale. But there are no makers of budget-end domino jointing devices, and although there's no denying how good the Festool domino jointer is, it sits around £1,000 for the basic machine, and many woodworkers, me included, constantly scan the market for a viable, affordable domino alternative. Enter the IGOOO DJ710 Dual-Spindle Doweling jointer. I'd read all the information that I could find, watched all the YouTube clips, but the response to it and its reported flaws was very varied, many reviews being really scathing, alignment issues being a key reported problem. This meant that I ummed and ahed for a good 6 months. However, 6 days ago I decided to take the plunge, and using my own money, so I'm not sponsored by IGOOO, I purchased one from Amazon for the screen price of 150 quid, a fraction of the price of a domino jointer. It arrived next day, and here it is. I would stress that everything I'm about to say is just my opinion. Yours may well be different, and this isn't really an unboxing video as such. There's enough existing clips out there to show you that. Instead, I'm approaching this review by having a reasonable understanding of both its good points and its shortcomings, having handled it and used it, which will ultimately be more of an advantage to anyone thinking of purchasing one. It came in this cloth bag, not a fitted case, together with a small supply of 6, 8 and 10mm dowels, plus 3 sets of drill bits that match those 3 sizes, a couple of associated Allen keys, one located in the handle, and some replacement carbon brushes. Be aware that the instruction booklet says this about the brushes. So if you purchase one and you use it to the point that the brushes require replacing, you either do it yourself or have to seek the services of an electrician. My initial thoughts out of the bag is that it's very solidly made, but on the inside of the back page of the same instruction booklet it states that the limited 1-year warranty recognises that it's only intended for DIY use, so clearly not trade rated. So consider it to be aimed more at the hobbyist workshop than being exposed to the rigours of being taken around to various different construction sites by someone on the tools. As you can see, it came fitted with a UK 3-pin plug adapter, but I made sure that I ordered the correct version with the right voltage requirements, as there are other virtually identical adverts that result in receiving ones destined for the European market with the wrong plug fitted. The first thing I checked was the accuracy of the fence at 90 degrees, being a highlighted problem in the reviews I'd read. The fence travels ever so slightly further than the 90-degree setting, and mine is only a true right angle at around 88 degrees, so don't rely on the gauge, set it manually. To get it back into the bag means you have to collapse the fence, so providing you ensure the accuracy of the fence every time you've got it out to use it, then I don't consider that to be a showstopper. I would expect such a crucial setting to be checked anyway on such a tool pre-use to ensure everything was tightened in the right place. In use, it's a very safe device, meaning that even when it's running, the spinning drill bits are out of the way until you apply forward pressure on the handle to extend the drill bits out from the front face to drill the holes. Swapping out the drill bits is a very simple process. You just use the supplied Allen key located in the handle, undo the securing screw and pull out the drill bit. The process is very straightforward, making it a plus point for the IGOOO dowel jointer. A modification I made to my biscuit jointer was to add a scored line on the left hand side so I could see at a glance where on the material the slot was going to be placed. With this in mind, I've added simple black tape pointers on both sides of the dowel jointer. So just by offering the device up to the material, you can easily identify from a distance the height at which the dowel holes will be positioned. You can of course do this by measuring the width of the material and then set the height using the scale on the side for precise positioning. but I find this so useful. It would be an excellent move for IGOOO to note the simple addition of such a marked line, which has a clear practical application for accuracy, visual reference and reassurance. Turning the device over reveals the dust extraction port. Every shed and every workshop will have differing arrangements and approaches to dust management, and consequently these will range from a relatively simple shop vac to a dedicated chip extractor to not really giving a damn about what you inhale, and it will be up to the individual to hook it up to any dust collection system that they're using. Personally, I also have a gym in the same space as my workshop, so anything that generates dust gets worked on outdoors. That said, I did attempt to connect it to my workshop vacuum system, and this involved sifting through what connectors I've acquired over time until I came up with a working combination. The plastic port itself is actually very shallow, so you'd have to securely fasten it with some strong tape to prevent it coming adrift during use. Moving now to the most contentious issue I'd seen in the reviews, and that's the accuracy of the alignment marks that appear in the Perspex viewer. The first thing that stood out was how relatively difficult they are to see, even with material in place, and the colour of it plays a huge part in how well you can see the lines. The centre line is what you align to the registration marks that you've drawn. The ones either side of the centre line indicate where the dowel holes will be drilled, and they are 32mm apart. This is all compounded for me because anything that results in fine wood dust being generated, such as sanding, sawing, and in this case, drilling holes, mean that even outdoors I always wear respiratory PPE in the form of the pictured full-face respirator, which is exceptionally good value for the money. In the tests I subsequently carried out, seeing those alignment lines was extremely challenging, and the addition of the PPE made it even more so. In the future, if anything will be responsible for misalignment errors, it will be this. IGOOO openly acknowledge that the alignment might not be totally accurate. Consequently, they published a video that shows how to adjust the viewer left or right to compensate. Their video shows the screen is loosened by undoing 3 locking screws, although mine just needed the supplied Allen key to loosen it, as it didn't come with conventional screws. Is mine the latest version? I can only guess. I can confirm that having done some test drilling, the alignment of mine was indeed out. Not drastically so, but enough to result in misalignment. Looking at the very first try, thinking it may have been user error, using the same setup, I tried again, and that too was out of alignment. It was at this point that I noticed the sloppiness of the dowels that came supplied with the jointer in the drilled holes. I switched to some from my own stock, and that solved the issue instantly, so be aware of this if you use them. I loosened the viewer and moved it incrementally to the left, and repeated the test drill process, which considerably improved the alignment. Given that the top edges of the material are flush, this demonstrates that not only are the drill bits in alignment, they also configure with the fence. Let's now show the same test process on video, so you can see the jointer in action and we can check the accuracy of the viewer's calibration. I intend to join together 2 pieces of timber using 3 pairs of jointer drilled holes in each, so 12 holes in total, needing 6 8mm dowels. Determine what size dowel holes you wish to drill relative to the size of your timber. Measure the length of your intended dowels, then set the depth stop to a fraction over half that length to allow for a snug fit and any glue you intend on adding. Again, you can do this by eye if you prefer. Make sure that the fence is set to 90 degrees and locked in that position. You can, of course, do these things in any order you choose, but check that the height of the fence is correct so the holes will be drilled at the right height, either by measuring and using the gauge or by eye. You could even add a line measured to the exact point where you want the holes to be drilled, which the tape arrow I added to the side makes very easy. Now I'm ready to drill. The timber is firmly clamped, so time to get suited up with PPE. I'm working outside, so not using any dust extraction. Plug the jointer in and offer it up to the material. Turn it on, the drill bits will start spinning, but no holes will be drilled until you push the handle forward to extend them out beyond the front face. Let's now see the final result by popping the dowels in. Yes, I'm very happy with that. Of course, you don't have to simply just drill sets of 2 holes. You can combine more than one set, emulating the same strength and support that dominoes provide. The pictured example is achieved by drilling your first pair of holes, then drilling 2 more by moving the jointer to align with either of the hole location lines. Although the jointer comes with sets of 6, 8 and 10mm drill bits, it also takes 12mm drill bits, which I ordered shortly after taking delivery. This really takes things up another notch in terms of joint stability and strength. Although 12mm dowels can be expensive, they vary tremendously in terms of quality and are difficult to source in any reasonable quantity. In this example, I've used homemade dowels to demonstrate the sheer titanic nature of such dowel work. Be aware though, things can easily go wrong, and in this example you've drilled 3 sets of 4 holes, but it's only when you step back that you realise things have gone somewhat awry. The second set of holes do not align with the first, and that's because the fence wasn't locked in position and it moved during use. Looking at the third set of holes, the 2 pairs don't match, which was caused by the jointer not being correctly seated at right angles against the material and then being raised ever so slightly during use. Having now used the IGOOO doweling jointer, I would conclude that most of the reported issues are largely down to user error more than actual faults with the device. The drilling process is not complicated, but thicker material offers more purchase for the jointer's front face, making it easier to get perfect results. Thinner timber makes it more challenging to ensure the drill bits are going in at the right angles. What you can do is clamp a thicker piece of timber under your workpiece, making sure it's aligned and perfectly flush. Then by supporting the weight of the jointer's handle with one hand, the other hand goes over the top and presses down on top of the fence. The jointer is then snuggled onto your mark line, ensuring the device is not being raised or lowered out of horizontal alignment. I planned at this point to detail my likes and dislikes of the IGOOO doweling jointer, going into more detail about alignment and the fence, the value of a fitted plastic case instead of the cloth bag, the poor placement of the on-off switch and how being centrally located would aid handling and safety, but unfortunately a fault revealed itself, and it wouldn't have felt right to just carry on and ignore it. As you saw earlier, I upgraded to the 12mm drill bits, and the more drilling I did, the more aware I became of the following burgeoning issue. Looking at this clip, 2 pairs of 12mm holes, and the same dowel is being tested in each hole. The left-hand one of each pair is a very snug fit. The right-hand one is very sloppy. What does this suggest to you? I initially thought the right-hand drill bit is ever so slightly bigger than the left. A manufacturing flaw maybe. I contacted IGOOO and explained the issue, and they responded very quickly saying they were unaware of any such historic problem. Also, I could return the drill bits for a replacement and they would then refund the purchase price, which is great customer service. I thought about the problem and swapped the bits around so the right hand one was now in the left spindle, and I test drilled another pair of 12mm holes. Exactly the same symptoms. The larger hole was still on the right, which would indicate it's not an issue at all with the drill bits, instead something to do with the jointer itself. However, to be absolutely certain, I test drilled a pair of 10mm holes, then swapped the drill bits around and drilled another pair next to them. As you can see from the clip, clearly it's nothing to do with poorly made drill bits, and this can only mean that the right hand spindle is rotating slightly more eccentrically than the left, causing a wider hole to be drilled. So where does this leave me? My IGOOO Dual-Spindle Doweling jointer is currently on its way back to Amazon, which is hugely disappointing as I was planning to keep it and was also looking forward to using it. I am yet to decide if I'll order a replacement, but if I do, I will provide an update via another review. It would be good to hear of your jointer experiences in the comments below.